Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so this is just going to be a quick tutorial on the distributive property, but with negatives. There's one thing that usually trips students up, and that's knowing how to distribute the negative at a particular point. So I like to draw these arrows here in order to use the distributive property. So I got negative 3 times 5. Put that in your calculator. Negative 3 times 5 is going to be negative 15. Alright, so that's the first one. Now I have negative 3 times times positive 4v. Negative 3 times positive 4v. So negative 3 times positive 4 is going to give me a negative 12. Alright? And since the v is there, the v just gets added. Okay? So my answer would be negative 15 minus 12v. I like to usually put the variables in the front. So negative 12v minus 15. Okay. Next, the only thing here is this little subtraction sign might be deceiving. What this is saying is that everything inside here is opposite. So whenever you see this and there's no number here, there's no coefficient like a 3 or 4 or whatever, just put a little 1 here. Because this is basically saying this is negative 1 and then you're multiplying it by the rest of this. Okay? Here is the same thing. There's no number here, so we're just going to go ahead and put a 1. Okay? It's very, very important to remember that. Okay, so we got 8, and then we got negative 1 times 3v. Negative 1 times 3 is negative 3, and then we just keep the v. Next, we got negative 1 times positive 1. 1 times 1 is 1, but negative times a positive is a negative, so it's going to be negative 1. At this point, we could see that we have an 8 and we have a 1. These are just regular numbers. We could subtract them. So 8 minus 1 is 7, and then minus 3v. So now, like I said, I usually like to put the variables first. So I'm going to put negative 3v, and what kind of 7 is this? Positive or negative? It's a positive 7, so plus 7. Next, same thing. I'm going to draw my little rainbow or my little butterfly. So I'm multiplying those, and then I have to multiply these as well. So we have negative 2 times 7, which is negative 14. Negative 2 times positive 2 is negative 4, and then we keep the v. Okay, so that's one section here. Now we got to continue. Remember, there's a 1 here. Negative 1 times 9 is negative 9. We keep the v. Negative 1 times negative 4 is a positive 4. Negative times negative is positive. Okay, if you're ever unsure, make sure to put this in your calculator. Now I'm going to combine both of my v's. If you look here, I have a negative 4v minus 9v. So in the calculator, if I just type negative 4 minus 9, I'll get my answer. Alright, so this is going to be negative 13. Okay? So we got negative 13v, and then we have negative 4 plus 4. So negative 14, plus 4. Signs are opposite. You type it into your calculator, you get negative 10. So this is going to be minus 10. Okay? The most important thing here is just understanding that you have to put a 1 here if there's a subtraction sign but no other number there. If it was something like 8 minus 3, 3v plus 1, of course you wouldn't have to put a 1. You would just notice, hey, I got to multiply both of them by negative 3 because of that minus here. Okay, so let's just try 2 more problems. The last one is a bit complicated, but we'll just show you our understanding. Here I have 2 variables. Okay, so this is still a 1 here because there's no other number. So 8a is just 8a. I can't do anything with that. Negative 1 times a positive 3, though, is going to give me a negative 3. I keep the v. And then negative 1 times positive 1 is negative 1. Alright? So this is just my answer. I can't really do anything. I can't combine v's with a's. And I can't combine a's with regular numbers. So my answer is just 8a minus 3v minus 1. Okay? Let's do this again. Looks like we have x's and a's here. Negative 6 times 2 is negative 12. Add the x. Negative 6 times positive 7 is negative 42. Okay? The minus 2a is just there by itself. It doesn't have any parentheses or anything, so I'm not going to do anything with it. Just leave it alone. Next, this doesn't have a number. Let me just go ahead and add that 1 there. Negative 1 times negative 5 is positive 5. And of course we have the a, so we got to keep the a as well. Negative 1 times positive 1 is negative 1. And then the 9 is just a 9, just by itself over there. So let's start to combine some stuff. I see two a's. I have a negative a, negative 2a, and a 5a. So negative 2 plus 5 is 3. So we have 3a. X's are all by themselves here, so I don't really have to do anything, so just minus 12x. And then we got negative 42 plus 9. Negative 42 plus 9. So negative 42 plus 9. If you go ahead and put that into your calculator, you get a value of 33. So that'll be negative 33. So then we minus 33. Okay? And that's basically it, guys. The most important thing here is draw the arrows if they help you. And then if you have a subtraction sign with no number and then the parentheses afterwards, make sure to put a 1 there. This one we didn't have to. It already has a 6, so we know what we're doing. The most important thing I want you to take away from this is this concept here of adding the 1 when necessary.